जय हिंद दोस्तों, वेलकम टू एसएसबी वर्ल्ड। आज मैं आपको बताने वाली हूँ हाउ टू एक्चुअली अटेम्प्ट एंड सॉल्व द साइकोलॉजी टेस्ट. In my previous video, as I have told you that what is psychology test, I have given you overview about psychology test. Today I am going to tell you that how to attempt this test, how to solve it, and what should be the approach a student should carry before going or appearing for psychology test. So let's begin. How to prepare for psychology test. The preparation for PPDT and TAT is simple. Just take a pen, notebook and stopwatch, that is your mobile phone stopwatch. Having stopwatch is enough, and go to your terrace from where you can see people engaged in different activities. Just try to note down their age, mood, try to develop a story. You may carry the book and pen along with you if ever you travel. Then try to see what you are able to write in the story within 3.5 minutes. So as I have told you that for TAT you get 30 seconds to see a picture and 3 minutes to write or 4 minutes to write story about it. So when you have to write a story about it, it should be connected to your life event. And the main aim before practicing this test is that you get aware about the procedure. You get aware about the procedure and the stories which you are going to write in your psychology test. So what you have to do is you have to gather your stationery. Your stationery includes your pen, your notebook or your mobile phone stopwatch. All these things you have to carry. Get a top view or go to the terrace, get a seat there, watch the things or activities going around. As you know that for being an officer you should be having a sharp observation skill. So sharp observation skills including observing everything whatever is happening around you. So for that you occupy a seat there in your terrace, watch around, observe the activities which are going around. Try to note those activities in your pen, in your paper. Try to make a story relating to that activity. Different stories could be made, and then say that story to someone you know, as he can just give you a feedback that whether your story is nice or not. Okay. What and how to analyze? Then analyze your story yourself, that whether the story is positive, whether the hero chosen by you is same age and sex of you, whether the story has 3 parts such as past, present and future, whether the story is acceptable and natural, and whether the story is linked with the picture shown. So as I have told you that the story should be real, the story should be relating to your life event. So life event activities could be only done or could be only noted down while you have actually experienced it in your life before. So you have to make sure that whatever story you have made is made within the time period which is provided to you or which you have set for yourself. Whatever story you have made is a realistic story, natural story and relating to your life event, not artificial or very superficial story which you actually cannot connect it with. So what is the problem behind a superficial or artificial story is that it sounds or it seems like a fake story, and when it is a fake story, definitely nobody is going to get your true personality out of that story. So the point of assessment or your psychology assessment will be failed at that point. So this is the reason behind you should be becoming your self-analysis. You should be doing your self-analysis, and when you do your self-analysis, you are the best judge of yourself. Apart from seeing all these things which I have mentioned, you have to show this story to someone, some expert you know, or someone very close to your family has that attitude or that mentality which armed force personnel carry. So you have to show that story once in a while. If you show it, that is also fine, because after showing it story, when you get the feedback, you had some idea or you get some idea about how to make a story. So these are the rules which you have to follow. Apart from this, the perception which you actually apply in that picture is of your own. Okay. So situation reaction test. Let's come to situation reaction test. As I told you that situation reaction test is one of the tests of psychology. It is 3rd out of 4 tests which is being taken in psychology. So let's see how to solve it and what is the strategy behind acing in situation reaction test. So the first strategy is that this test can be considered as the most important test of SSB, as you may face it even in your interview. Please never write any solution that is beyond the capacity of your age, economic background, and physical strength. For example, if you are a karate master, you can bash the dacoits and save the victim. But if you are a lean and not a master of the karate, then give the reaction accordingly. As I have told you that in your psychology, they want your genuine response, and genuine response include your true response. If it is not true, it is not genuine. So as this example says that if you are a karate player, you have to actually handle the situation on your own, because if you play the karate or if you know how to do the karate, you will be able to do that activity. But if you are a lean person, or if you are not as strong as other athletics or karate performing guys are, then try to solve that problem accordingly. Try to give your response accordingly, because that will show your genuineness in that reaction. So basically, situation reaction test is very important. Why? Because the armed forces environment, the environment in which you are going to acquire through, is environment like the unfavorable situations are very familiar in your scenarios. So you will face a lot of situation in the institution where you won't be aware about it. They might be a dangerous situation, there might be unfamiliar situation. So for that they make you prepared. For that they want to see your whether you have that courage or not in you. Okay. So please be natural in your reaction and put yourself in the situation to get your reaction. So as they give you a situation, so first of all you have to first conceive that situation in your mind. Try to visualize that situation and put yourself into that situation. So when you put yourself in that situation, the obvious response will come first. The preparation needs basic common sense. While reading newspaper or watching news in TV, you may read news that accident occurred, many people injured, like this. So if you need a situation like this, then put yourself in those situations and think about how you will react. So my advice for you to solve this situation is like, when you see any kind of problem is happening around you, suppose if you are going to a school and you see that some accident has occurred and you see people handling it, so try to put yourself into that situation. Try to put yourself as the person who is helping the person who has been met with an accident. So when you put yourself into some other person's shoes, definitely you will give your true and genuine response, and your fair response is the only response which they want. Okay. Try to solve it within fixed time. So one of the main hurdle which we see in situation reaction test is the time hurdle. As I have told you that in 30 minutes you have to solve 60 situation reaction test, and that means that 30 seconds for one situation. Also 30 seconds include reading and writing. So this is very hectic problem or hectic kind of test which you face in your psychology test. So basically the main aim of this lecture is that to get you aware of the things, what strategy you should be following, what things you should be adopting in your daily life, so that you do not fail in psychology test. Okay. Word association test. As I told you that word association test is second test among the 4 tests which is taken in psychology. So it requires ample practice first of all. Then ask someone to show you each word for 15 seconds, or you may do it with the help of PowerPoint presentation or PowerPoint slideshow. See that your sentence doesn't have words like I, me, should, could, etc. If necessary, you may use them. Your reaction must be natural and write the thought that comes to your mind first. So this is the strategy which I have given you. So in simple terms, I would say that do not try to preach anyone. Do not try to teach anyone. Psychologist is way better than you and he is the assessor. So just give your own values, give your own beliefs and give your own opinion about the sentence which you see in the picture. Try not to teach anyone, because teaching might not show your real self. Okay, so teaching is prohibited, and as it has said that try avoid using words like I, me, should, could. So these words are just a jargon which are going to make your sentence lengthy. These are not very helpful words which are going to actually show yourself or show your real personality to the assessor. So this is the reason why they say not to use these words. Second thing which I want to suggest you, that practice and practice, because word association test is the test of your own personality, your own values and your own opinions. So the more you practice, the more you know about yourself and the more you reveal about yourself. So when you practice about word association test, after finishing the test, read it once, analyze yourself, be your own guide, be your own assessor, and then set your plan accordingly. Okay, so let's come to self-description test. So in my previous lectures, as I have told you that what self-description means, you have to describe yourself in the opinion of different objectives of your life. The objectives are your parents, the objectives are your teachers, your friends, colleagues, yourself and your aspiration. So self-description test is again a time constraint test. You only get 15 minutes to complete all these things, and trust me, these 15 minutes are not enough if you have not prepared before going and before attempting this test. So my advice for you is that prepare your self-description before going to SSB center, so that whenever the time comes, whenever you have to write these things, you write it automatically without thinking anything about anyone, and you will be able to write more about yourself than thinking and writing there and then self. So let's begin. This test helps the psychologist to know the self-analyzing capability of the candidate. So the well your self-description is, the well you know about yourself. And when psychologists read about your self-description, he also get to know that what kind of personality you hold and what kind of person you think of yourself, or you are in the eyes of your objectives of your life. Now, preserve the comments made about you by your friends, teachers, superiors, in case you are serving or working in some institutions, parents, or you may directly ask them. So my best opinion to make a best or better self-description is that take the reviews, take the critics, take the feedback about yourself, and your self-description, as I told you earlier as well, that your self-description should be consisting of your weaknesses or the area of improvement as well as your strength. So it should not be filled with only your strength or only your weaknesses. It should be balanced of both the things, because that shows that you also have made balance in your life, and that also shows that you have that stamina or you have that courage to overcome the problems you have faced in your life. Now, think of your aim in life and how you think of yourself. So when the column comes of your aspirations, what you think about yourself and what are your aspirations about yourself. So in that scenario, you have to imagine yourself after 15 years or 10 years down the line. Why? Because that will show the real you, what you aspire to become like after 10 years or 5 years, whatever the time period you assume for yourself is the right thing. So basically, aspirations comes from your goals and objectives, and whatever your goals and objectives, whatever strategy you have taken to attain those goals and objectives is written under your aspiration column. Okay. Your view should never contradict with the views of your parents, teachers. Then write it several times so that you can take the valuable points and leave the irrelevant ones. It also helps for time management. So there are many times comes when you write so many times self-description, the same thing you again and again write and nothing valuable comes out of it. Why? Because you are just mugging up your self-description. Rather, you should write it, analyze it, read it, and try to think from the psychologist perspective. Suppose that self-description, whatever you are reading, whichever you are reading, is of someone else. And then again you have to analyze it. You have to become the judge of yourself. Try to find out if there is any contradicting points in the opinion of your parents or your teachers or your friends. Try to remove those points. Try to not fall in any of the controversial questions which an interviewer or a psychologist or a GTO may ask you. So these are the things, small things which you have to follow. Try to write your self-description several times, but after assessing it many times, not just seeing and then trying to mugging up and then writing it in a paper. So this will not do any help thing to you. Okay. So these are the tips which I have given you for psychology. In my upcoming video, I will tell you how to face your interview and what should be the tricks and techniques to be followed to ace in your interview. So if you have liked my channel or my video, please subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever my next video comes. Thank you. Jai Hind.